Great to be here again this year. Wicomico's unemployment rate is 4%. It's a 12-year low. And we're running at an employment growth rate of about 1.6%, which is something we haven't seen in the last 4 or 5 years either. So what's happening in the marketplace? Why? And what does that have to do with the economic conditions in 2020? Well, first of all, we were growing jobs at a far greater rate than the nation and the state of Maryland prior to the 2007 recession. So we had a longer way to go down. When 2009, 2010, when the state of Maryland and the country started adding jobs, we didn't do so until 2 years later. So that lagging indicator was there 2 years behind. And that gives some credence for further momentum, in my opinion, in this economic cycle. Second, you look at the disruptions we've seen in the marketplace in different sectors in the past 10 to 15 years, and we find ourselves in attractive economic sectors in 2019 and going into 2020. Some more intertwined with global economies and global conditions than others. Agriculture and agribusiness is certainly one of those that is intertwined with global conditions. And just like, I'll go off script a little bit, scientists can trace tiny bits of phytoplankton in the ocean back to the great whale species, and economists can trace a similar food chain from commodity trading desk in Chicago right down to the farm fields in Wicomico County. So pricing on corn and soybeans are major crops here. There's a lot of volatility in 2019. It looks more promising going into 2020. Price of poultry has been relatively flat in 2019. It looks more promising in 2020 as well. If you look at another key industry sector of education and healthcare, it's one of our largest job sectors in our economy in Wicomico. That's pretty steady. We see the health system that their goal and mantra in life is to keep people well. So we're seeing a broadening healthcare system toward wellness. So new business formations, new entrepreneurial endeavors like physiologists and personal trainers and yoga instructors and nutritionists and dietitians, all small business formations that we can expect to see continue in that space from an education standpoint. And public education too, one of our major employers, Mr. Hanlon, who in our Wicomico County as well. But the Salisbury University, concentrating on that rebranding campaign, or strengthening the brand of the university as important today is going to be more important in the next 4 or 5 years as we compete for students. The entrepreneurship competitions, the Mid-Atlantic Sales and Marketing Institute, they're having a big national sales competition next March. Those type of events help differentiate our university from others and help strengthen that brand. Manufacturing plays a big role in our economy, and in that space where it's a little more intertwined with global conditions, especially on the input side, but the space that we're strong in, life science, these are companies, part of Purdue, Cadista, Zoetis, Tishcon Corporation, Trinity Stero, with the aging of the population, it looks promising for us as well. Definitely the cable hard electronics in terms of cable harnesses for military work and the microwave technology for both for military and commercial, really driven by the deployment of 5G, otherwise known as fifth generation mobile technology. We see strong exponential growth actually in the next 5 to 10 years within that space. So you'll see existing companies expand and you'll see new entrants into that market. If we combine the construction sector and the professional business services sector, that represents about 14% of our job base in Wicomico. So they're important sectors. Construction, these are your carpenters, your wall trimmers, your electricians, your plumbers, your HVAC techs, roofers. Professional business services, these are your architects, your engineers, your surveyors, your paralegals, your mortgage brokers, real estate folks, all tied to that residential, a large part to the residential construction market. I think our friends over in Sussex County continue their growth. Single-family permits are up about 8.5% to 9%. We don't see that slowing down next year either. That bodes well for us in Wicomico. And inventory in Wicomico of single-family homes is now below 400, so we've got an absorption rate of about 2.5%, maybe. I'll yield to some of the other experts, but it's getting down to really vibrant real estate market in Waikamico. So once that inventory dropped below 400, we started to see price appreciation on single-family homes, and we need price appreciation to be able to afford to build new homes. And so I think you look at something like the former Salisbury 80-acre mall site, you can expect to see, I think there's 160 or so single-family homes scheduled to be built there. Non-residential construction looks very similar. The market for that space is in the 8, 10, 12, 15,000 square foot range. Not a lot of space on the market. Again, low inventory, and that's why you're seeing some of the properties that have been existing or sitting there for a while being purchased and repurposed. You'll continue to see that. It also may lend some credence on development or new development, new construction opportunities, especially in the industrial side, something we haven't seen in some time. So you kind of put all that together. I know it's quick, but Aaron tells me we got to be quick, and Danny ate up most of my time anyway. So you put all that together, and it looks fairly steady and promising in 2020. There is an air of a bit uncertainty, and I think that's the best term for it, uncertainty, due to trade policies and how that impacts our economy here, especially in the ag sector going into 2020. But again, it looks to me, it looks more favorable than it did in 2019. But you balance that against rate structures, which are attractive today in terms of capital expenditures. And a wise man once told me that he did his best growing in challenging times, and I think that's what he was talking about there. So it's probably a great time to invest. Thank you.